Good afternoon guys, happy Friday. We're finally almost at the weekend and I have updates. So I do my check-in on a Monday and a Thursday at the moment with my coach and things have been changed. So this week has been a bit of a disaster. Well, it hasn't been a disaster, basically my weight just hasn't really been coming down, and I don't know if that's because it's the time of the month for me, so I do normally hold quite a bit more kind of water weight, or whether just my body hasn't responded the last couple of days. Who knows? So things have been changed. Unfortunately not for the better, but it's prep, like it's to be expected. So cardio has now been upped by just 10 minutes per day, so that takes it up to 55 minutes per day. So this morning I actually did 10 minutes cardio. I've got 45 minutes to do this afternoon because I did my weight session this morning in the end. And steps are still the same, so steps are still 15k per day, which is on top of the Stairmaster 55 minutes. And then calories have been lowered by about 200 calories. So now on training day I have 1,582 calories, which is low, really low for me. So that will by far be the most difficult bit. And then on a non-training day I have 1,532 calories and high protein on a non-training day, which is I think a good thing that it's high protein, lower carb, because high protein means that you normally stay a bit fuller for longer, and carbs, I just love carbs, but they inevitably will come down because my energy expenditure is lower than obviously on a training day. So they are the main updates for now. Have been feeling really tired, but as I said, it's just I think this kind of time of the month, and hopefully now my energy will start to increase again and hopefully the weights will start to come down. Obviously it is not a competition which is a weight-based competition, not for female categories anyway, but it is obviously aesthetics, and I'm not really going to be putting on a lot more muscle mass at this point when I'm in a big calorie deficit in prep. So it's really a case of obviously bringing body fat percentage down so your muscles become more visible. So that is kind of the main updates this week. In terms of training's been going fine. As I said, energy has been a little bit low. So I haven't actually done so many handstand sessions this week, which I need to get back to as of next week. But that really has just, again, been to do with time of month. So next week we should be back to full capacity and hopefully weight will drop. I will do a little physique update at some point in this video so you guys can see, and maybe we'll insert some training as well, maybe some handstand training. Routine still needs to be made up, I also want to start thinking about getting a posing coach. I always leave this last minute. It's because I always leave my prep to last minute, guys. I really need to learn one day, but I do probably want to get a posing coach, just like I know the main poses, but more for the transitions and kind of confidence on stage. And bikini I still haven't ordered because it's difficult sourcing in Mexico, so I may actually have to order one for home. We shall see and work things out. And then I still got to book things like flights, so there's a lot still I've got to do. But obviously the main thing at the moment is bringing the physique in and making out the routine, making sure obviously all sessions, training sessions are always complete, which they always are, and I'm on track with food and everything. So yeah, that is what the plan is for the next 8 weeks really. Mention, and that is that I think the first thing that is coming in for me this year is my arms. I know that sounds really strange, but for some reason I feel like my arms are getting leaner, which is not a bad thing. Like I like my arms being quite lean, like my shoulders I guess quite prominent, but I don't know if that's a normal thing for female or not. We'll run with it. I have been bloated in the stomach, so I just can't wait for this bloat to go, to be honest. And then my legs, I think, probably lean out at a normal rate. I actually think most females' legs usually come in last, but I don't know, I think my legs maybe just come in as and when they do. I didn't necessarily last, but we shall see. I think obviously the package I'm going to bring this year is quite different to maybe 2 years ago, when I think I was in a good condition. Last year I didn't actually think I got into that great of a condition. So this year I am excited to see what we bring and see what areas I've kind of like brought up. I really hope hamstrings and glutes. Like, I really want a good tie-in. really want a good tie-in. So I am excited to hopefully see that over the next couple of weeks. But I think my stage weight will probably be around 50 to 52 kg. At the moment I've been sitting around like 54 kg. So actually not that far off, like just a couple of kilograms. But I think the first bit for me is fairly easy to always lose, and then towards the end, you know, it does get quite difficult and you have to dig quite deep, and that's when the hunger kicks in, and you know, you're going to bed every single night extremely hungry, you lack energy in the day. The things that people, I think these days they do talk more about, but maybe in the past, you know, you struggle in silence, and people are not aware of. You look at prep and you think, is it really that different to your everyday? The thing which is difficult is the fact that you're on low calories. So low calories means that you have low energy, and when you have low energy, you know, you naturally don't feel like doing things. Your NEAT activity, your non-thermogenic, non-exercise activity thermogenesis decreases. So that's the amount you just kind of move on a, just not really thinking about it, you know, just fidgeting around, whatever. And so you got to try and keep your NEAT as high as you can. You can have things like, you know, fat burners, you can have things like caffeine, and that can help. Obviously I'm a natural athlete, so I'm not going to be taking anything which is not basically caffeine. Maybe some natural supplements, but not anything which is anything else. So it's definitely more difficult because you really do feel the effects of how hungry you are. I think, yeah, it's not called prep for nothing. You gotta prep and you gotta struggle through. You don't have to struggle through it, but I think, you know, it's not always easy, unfortunately. And I think hopefully this will be one of the hardest weeks for me, just this kind of time. But after that, fingers crossed, we will be a bit more plain sailing, hopefully. We shall soon find out. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. So this morning, slight change in my routine because I had a client call fairly early this morning. So I normally go to the gym kind of when I've done my journaling and done my kind of yoga stretchy thing. But today, a little bit different because I had a client call. So we're gonna go and train. I actually feel the most energized I felt in like the last week, which is amazing because I have a leg session. So I'm gonna go and do that now while I have energy. And then I may do my cardio straight after, or maybe I'll do it later, we shall see. What I need to make sure though is that I am, from next week, trying to get in my cardio and weights in the morning, because when I leave my cardio to the afternoon, I often don't do my handstand session. I end up just doing cardio instead, because by the time it gets to that, I get a bit tired. So I know in the morning I always have most energy, so I need to get as many steps done in the morning, as much cardio done, or try and get all my cardio done in the morning, and also my weight sessions, because later on, if I just have a handstand session to do, that's very reasonable and manageable for me. So I think something about prep is you've got to really understand your body and what works for you, because obviously you have X, Y, Z things that you need to get in. And I know for a fact that if I leave things later in the day, my willpower and just I'm less inclined to do it. Whereas in the morning, I'm very much like go, 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 and I'll just kind of, I wouldn't say cruise through them, but cruise through them compared to in the afternoon when it feels like a real struggle. And as well as that, I like to kind of push back my meals a little bit, especially when calories get low, because in the morning I don't have a huge desire to eat that much. I'm not really that hungry, whereas as the day goes on I get more hungry. So even if I've eaten, I could eat the same amount first thing in the morning and be just as hungry later on in the day. Whereas I could eat, like I could fast and push my meals back a bit. Obviously, you know, I don't need to be doing this in a maintenance or a bulking kind of phase. I'll probably be doing quite the opposite. But in a phase where calories are low and I'm in a deficit, for me, it's a lot better that I try and have my first meal as late as possible, because I know I'll still be just as hungry if I then end up eating earlier. If anything, like as soon as I start eating, I'm more hungry. I don't know if anyone else gets that. Once you start eating, you just want to have more food, whereas if you just kind of push it back, you don't really think about it. And I find I can be super productive that way as well. If I have, you know, lots of kind of work things I need to get done, I just get them done without thinking too much. I need to get my meals right now. Anyway, we are going to go and get a move on with this quad session. I think I filmed this last week, so I probably won't film it this week. And then we will see if I have energy to do cardio this morning. It's a Saturday, so I do have a bit more lenience with my timetable today. Anyway, yes, I shall see you probably when I get back. Back from the gym, I have obviously just had a shower. It's actually quite late. I am having my second meal of the day. At the gym, I did a leg session, which was quad focus, which I didn't actually film because I filmed it last week. And then I did 50 minutes cardio, which means later on when I go and do my handstand session, I've only got 5 minutes cardio left, which is perfect. Also got in nearly 10k steps, which means I've only got to get in about another 5-6k. So I feel good. The cardio was actually, when I got into it, it was fine. The hardest bit I think today was the leg session. I just lacked a bit of energy to begin with. But when I got into it, it was fine. This is the meal I'm about to have. So we've got 200 grams of egg whites, 1 egg, 1 whole egg. We've got some peas, and we've got 2 of these, which are like 100 calories. So it's a very low calorie meal for the volume, which is what I aim for, what I live for at the moment. And yeah, I'm going to eat this now, enjoy this, probably watch something on YouTube, and then I need to do a little bit of client work this afternoon, and then go and do my next session. So that is the plan now for the next couple of hours. I'm going to apologise now, guys, because I feel like this is a very talkative vlog, and there hasn't actually been much kind of physical action with training and things, so I do apologise. But one thing I have noticed in this prep, maybe more than I ever noticed before, because I think I probably got to a slightly different point in my off season than before I did, is that I have been a lot cooler. It sounds really weird, but not nearly as hot. Basically, the last, I don't know, couple of months, especially when I was at home, I was so hot the whole time. Honestly, it was actually like uncomfortable. And I now think it was down to the fact that I was eating so many calories. So I got to I think the most I was eating was about 3,000 to 3,200 calories a day. Honestly, my body was obviously metabolizing that food the whole time. I just felt so hot the whole time. And yes, it was the summer, and you know, it's very hot in my flat back at home. But honestly, I was just so hot, and I was like, why am I feeling like this? So I'm actually quite happy that I don't feel that uncomfortably hot the whole time, even though, you know, I'm in a hotter climate and I have aircon, whatever. So obviously I'm very grateful that I have aircon here, but still, just my body doesn't feel in itself so incredibly burning up the whole time. So that's good, especially at night. I found it really difficult because I'd literally just overheat really quickly. I'd go to sleep, and I think my sleep was really compromised because I was just getting so hot all the time. Anyway, I'm going to stop saying hot because I've probably said it about a million times, but I'm going to go and source a battery for my scales. They're the little round batteries. I think it's C2032. I think it's that. So I've got to try and find where that would be, maybe a supermarket. I keep meaning to go and get one, the last 2 days. So we're going to go and get that, and then we will be training fairly soon for my second session. So guys, that concludes my day. We are now at 6:30 and I have done my handstand session, finished off the 5 minutes cardio I had left in the Stairmaster and finished off the steps, so I'm on like just over 15,000. So I actually don't have to do any more exercise, but I don't want to today. I may pop out this evening, but I may not. I may just go to sleep. So I've got another meal left to have and then I will just unwind. I will do a bit of editing and yeah. So I will love you and leave you guys there, but I hope you've enjoyed that little vlog.